Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So what I have for you guys today is from NBC News. U.S. Immigration Agency to re-examine green card holders from countries of concern. So this is going to be really interesting to see. Definitely want to see NBC's take on it because, you know, a lot of these mouth propaganda pieces for the left usually try to twist and turn and create some crazy hoops to jump through. But we're going to go ahead and see what kind of mental gymnastics these people are going to give us. So let's go ahead and jump right into the video.
I want to go to Kelly O'Donnell now, who is traveling with the president. She is in West Palm Beach, Florida, as he is spending the Thanksgiving holiday at his Mar-a-Lago home. And Kelly, can we start with here the latest news from the Trump administration that they're going to look at, we mentioned it at the top of the show, these green card holders from what they call countries of concern. We're just getting an update on what those countries are, what this means. This is a potentially very significant development, right?
It is significant because it will go far beyond just this incident with the attack in D.C. involving these two National Guard members who are in critical condition. This subjects other green card holders who have gone through what we know is a rigorous process to achieve that high level of status, which is allowing people to live and work in the United States for an extended period of time on a pathway to citizenship. By reviewing all of those cases from what the administration calls countries of concern. And they have defined those countries in specific documents. It includes Afghanistan, of course, but it also includes some of the countries that you would expect to have terror concerns or unstable governments, things like that, from around the world. But that means other green card holders, and the suspect in this case was not a green card holder, but an asylum recipient, not yet to the path of a green card, but it's going to review many more people. And so this gets into the administration's very robust view of immigration policies and the stronger tactics that they're bringing to bear. They're also saying that they will do a review through Homeland Security of all Afghans who've been admitted to the country. And so not only Afghans, but these other residents who are green card.
And I definitely agree with what Trump is doing because it's ridiculous that this situation happened. It's so insane. And again, prayers to, you know, the fallen soldier who passed away and to the one that's still fighting for his life. You know, definitely sending out prayers to both of their families. And, but what we need to have happen, because I like that Trump is doing this, where he's like, no more, we're not taking people no more. It reminds me of, you know, of this.
We'll send them packing. Cost you and me a goddamn fortune. Now it reads no vacancies.
So yeah, I agree with it 100% because Trump is basically saying, we're closed. America's closed. That's it. We're not taking anybody else. And not to mention, a lot of these people probably were not properly vetted. You know, you know, me and my dude, we were watching the live situation of that whole debacle. And it literally looked crazy, you know, like it reminded me personally from whenever you watch, because, you know, your girl loves movies. So whenever you watch like any type of apocalyptic movie, you always see these type of scenarios, you know. And so when I was watching that, it just looked insane because you've seen all these people just running around. You see people, you know, hopping fences. You see, you know, guardsmen telling them like, no, stay back. And then you had people just like bum rush it and, you know, jumping over the fences, just trying to fill to the max this airplane, you know. So I highly doubt that those people were properly vetted just based on the footage that we saw when we were watching it all just kind of go down, you know. And it reminds me of like
we're also learning more about the desperate plight of Afghan civilians fleeing the Taliban. And this is the scene inside the U.S. cargo plane. 640 people packed on board for the 3-hour flight to Qatar. This is what the giant aircraft is designed for, carrying 150 troops or 170,000 pounds of equipment. In this remarkable photo, you can see the entire plane jammed with fleeing Afghans.
Yeah, but it reminds me of stuff like that, you know? And so even if some of them, like let's say hypothetically, were vetted, right? For all we know, they were a double agent. We wouldn't know. Like that guy could have played his role perfectly And he could have been trying to get out of Dodge because, the next stage of their plan was to overtake our government and cause chaos. Or, maybe he also left because maybe his cover was so deep that his fellow people didn't know that and he didn't want to get murked. Like, the craziness could kind of just keep going and going of conspiratorial theories and thoughts would just kind of just keep going, But I definitely don't think, like, personally, like, I think the simplest solution is that there weren't people vetted, just based on what we saw. But you guys let me know your thoughts in the comment below if you guys saw that live video of people trying to scramble and leave. But let's keep going.
Holders from an array of countries, 19 of them. So this will have farther reaching implications for many immigrants in the United States. The president, of course, also calling up additional National Guardsmen to be deployed in Washington, D.C. That has also been a subject of criticism and legal challenges, as we know, Hallie.
Kelly, there's also, when we talk about the suspect, we're learning more about the work that he did in this so-called Zero Unit, one of these Zero units that worked closely with the U.S. in the war in Afghanistan. Can you tell us more about what that is, what the work was, what we're hearing from some of the members of the Trump administration about this?
Well, from a very long period of time of the U.S. being on the ground in Afghanistan, there were partnerships developed with lots of Afghans to work alongside the U.S. military and intelligence officers who were in country. And officials say that this suspect was a part of one of those units that worked with the CIA, and he had done that for a number of years. So I think on its face, it is likely that they did some vetting of who he is and what his work was. So you hear the administration saying there was no vetting done. That is hard to accept given the fact that he was put in a position of working alongside.
I can also believe that because you remember the fact that they said that the border was closed, that the borders are not open, but yet they let 20 million people come here who were not vetted, who were just let loose into throughout the United States. So am I going to believe anything that the Democrats or the Biden administration said? Hell no. And if y'all believe that, just let you know, I got a bridge to sell y'all guys. But let's keep going.
U.S. personnel, so there would be some level of vetting there. Now, the administration is taking a very difficult position, and they are speaking about this suspect in harsh terms. They refer to him today as, this animal would never have been here if not for Joe Biden's dangerous policies, which allowed countless unvetted criminals to invade our country and harm the American people. That gives you a sense of the tone coming from the Trump administration and their intention to put the responsibility on the prior administration. And again, we don't know the specifics of the vetting involving this suspect, but there was certainly some measure of assessment through his service alongside U.S. personnel, and then the administration, the Biden administration at the time of allowing for the influx of Afghans who had been working with the U.S., they promised vetting at that time as well. So questions remain about what was done.
Yeah.
And since we don't know a motive yet, Hallie, it's hard to know if vetting would have identified whatever triggered this.
I'm pretty sure the fact that he was illegal, the fact that I think they said that he screamed Allah Akbar before doing that. And again, like I told you guys before, if you watch the Nick Shirley video with Dearborn, Michigan, and you see him ask those Muslims their questions about who they would side with, which was either, other countries or America if we went to war, they definitely weren't going to side with us. So, yeah, there are some places and people that we're not compatible with. I think that if you're coming to America, you should be assimilating to our norms and our cultures. I don't think that we should be bringing in people with vastly different, culture or lifestyle. If you're coming to America, you're coming to become an American, not to bring your crazy worldview over to our country and try to turn our country into some crazy ish hole where you came from, But let's finish up this video.
Episode that unfolded yesterday in the district.
And can I ask you, Kelly, when we talk about the suspect, the charges against him, because we heard Janine Pirro say he could face 15 years in prison, right?
Well, the charges at this point are very much kind of the moment. We have two soldiers who are in critical condition, and so these are assault charges at this point. We hope and pray for their recovery, but obviously when you have a critical condition, prosecutors will also have flexibility to bring about more charges. Now, the investigation that's going on, the search warrants that have been pursued and so forth, those could identify other avenues for potential charges. So this is a flexible situation with respect to charges at this point. Hallie?
Kelly O'Donnell, live for us there in West Palm Beach, Florida. Kelly, thank you very much for your reporting.
So yeah, this is what I have for you guys right now of everything that's going on. I know on X I did talk about already that because of the soldier, her passing away, that Judge Janine Pirro said that they were going to go for, I believe, like murder charges against this person. So that's what we have right now, up to date in regards to that information. But it's crazy, and it's kind of like 9/11 all over again. But, you know, not into the extent of how big that situation was, because this is kind of like really small, but it's still very shocking because you still wouldn't think something like this would happen. But then again, we thought the same thing about 9/11. We were so brazen and thinking like ain't nobody could touch us, and bam, you know? So this is what happens when you become soft, okay? Way too soft. Like, that's that whole, you know, statement that people make about, you know, strong men build, you know, like create like weak men, and weak men, you know, oh, I know what it is. It's strong men create soft times create, wait, something like that. So it's always like that statement where they say strong men create good times, you know, create weak men create hard times create strong men, and the cycle keeps going. And I think that in that state of that, we became weak because we got soft. You know, we kind of laid back a lot and let things started to crumble, and before we knew it, everything starts tumbling down. So yeah, this situation was just getting so insane in regards to that, and who knows if there's more to come, because, you know, this one I didn't foresee coming, but hey, you know, you never know. The timeline that we're living in is kind of crazy. And so, you know, between a holy war, which is what's going around on X right now, between Muslim and Christianity, to civil war, to World War III, it's just going so out of pocket. I'm still hoping for an alien invasion, but the ones from outer space, okay? But you guys let me know your thoughts in the comment below of what you think of everything that's going on. I really appreciate you guys. I want to thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Till next time, guys.